Laura's success over the last few days, it's obviously even more pleasing to be here. For this toast to John Manning, and this being the first time, 30 years, that John and his family presented the fair in Grundy Park. And we're also here for the celebration of the once great Cheshunt Carnival. We're also here to celebrate Broxbourne's Year of Culture. So the fair and John Manning will be toasted today by the Mayor, Councillor Martin Greensmith, and here today is the Mayoress, Leslie, his good lady wife, Cabinet Member for Leisure and Culture, Councillor D. Hart, and the Leader of the Council, Councillor Mark Bishop. And of course, we also have John Manning Senior here, who celebrates his 80th birthday this October. 80 years young.
You're wearing well, John.
The reply to the toast will come from John's son, John Jr. The Carnival Fair goes back to 1964, when John and his father Samuel were asked to provide a fair to support the carnival. In that year, the fair only consisted of a handful of rides for the adults and the same number of attractions for the kiddies. I was part of the carnival that year, on the float of the Boys Brigade at the age of 11. If you see the rolling film at the entrance of the fair, you'll see me, white t-shirt, white shorts on the back of the float, 11 years of age. In that first year, the floats actually came into the park, so it was a smaller fair, and the floats would come in alongside the park and all congregate at the end for the public to view. In 1965, the following year, I was also part of the parade and marched behind the float wearing the Boys Brigade uniform. And again, we came into the park. My next memorable moment came in 1967, and this is down to David Manning. David, former councillor and mayor for Broxbourne, attended with his Ton of Love ride, and on the Friday night I was here with some school friends. A group of us took a ride on the Ton of Love, and one of the girls from the school, I think her name was Helen, decided to sit next to me in one of the cars. As we went through the tunnel for the first time, I thought, do I? Don't I? No, I won't. I'm a bit shy, I won't.
Too much of a gentleman.
So when we go through the tunnel the second time, I reached over and I gave her a kiss on the chin. Didn't get a slap, I was okay. I must have impressed her, because I went round for the third time, she leaned over and kissed me. So I obviously did the right thing, you know.
What happened?
What happened? So David, thank you very much. That changed my life forever. Thank you for that. I continue to enjoy the ride each year. But did I ever find love on David's Ton of Love? Well, in 1970, I shared a car with a young lady. Her name was Christine, from work. We worked at Fishballs at Waltham Cross. We shared the ride, sat next to each other. I thought, I'm not going to wait for the second go for the tunnel, I'm going to go in for the first ride. So through the tunnel, I reached over and kissed her. 2 years later, we got married and have been married for 44 years. So it did work. It did work. The Tunnel of Love ride, where is it? Oh. So that's David's Tunnel of Love ride. It was cars that went round a track, up and down through the tunnel at the back. So it was ideal for meeting members of the opposite sex. You know. In 1974, at the age of 21, I started my own mobile catering business and won the concession to sell ice cream at the carnival events, and continued to supply ice cream vans here until the last carnival held in Grundy Park in 1986. And that's me over there at the age of 21 handing the ice cream to the young lady. I also went with Mannings to Waltham Abbey and Stevenage carnivals and other events as well. The carnival started in '64 with just a little fete, a small fair and a moderate procession of floats. Over the years, the fete became a large show with marquees, arena events, stalls and celebrity football matches. The parade just got bigger, starting at the 10-year-old Waltham Cross, moving through Cheshunt to Mill Lane and terminating in Delamere Road. The fair doubled in size to completely fill the top piece of the ground at Grundy Park. The carnival day became a carnival week, running from Saturday to Saturday, beginning with it's a knockout competition on the first Saturday, band concerts, sports nights, bingo. Pram race would come to the fair afterwards, and the fair would get a good couple of hours after the pram race. The grand finale on the Saturday night was the firework display from the corner of the lower field and organised by John Manning. We were told at its height over 20,000 people attended the fair and show on a carnival Saturday, the biggest cultural event held in the town. I remember one hot Saturday on Carnival Day. We had 3 ice cream vans in the park and a couple of drink vehicles as well. Very, very busy day. We did very well indeed. Absolutely busy, yeah. Very, very busy. People were sitting around the park. We were selling out. Fireworks would come on, everyone would go home. The fireworks were then 10 o'clock, at 20 past 10, people came back to the fair, back to the ice cream vans. We were putting flakes in cornets at 11:30 at night. That's how busy it was. We've had a few wet ones as well, so they've not all been good, but I do remember one particular carnival Saturday, again, selling ice cream. It got to around 9:30 and we suddenly were aware that people weren't there. They had sort of disappeared. I looked up and saw John Manning running through the ground from the pay box of his ride, and I said, "What's up, John, where are you going?" He said, "I'm going down to the bottom field," he says. "They've all buggered off down there early to see the fireworks, you know." So we ran down there, got the fireworks to go off a little bit early so they come back to the fair. And again, we had another good hour afterwards, like, you know. He was concerned of losing a few bob, obviously, so. In 1977, John was asked to provide a fair in Grundy Park over the first weekend in June, organised by the Goths Oak Fellowship of Friends to help celebrate the Queen's Silver Jubilee. With this being only 6 weeks before the Carnival Fair, there was some concern that it might affect attendance at the Carnival, but it didn't, proving that residents loved their Carnival Fair. In the early 80s, John also brought a fair to Grundy Park in November each year to support the council's firework display, before the event moved to Cheshunt Park. The last carnival to be held in Grundy Park, as we said, was in 1986, due to the building of the new leisure centre. It was held on the Goths Lane playing fields for 1987, and then the Waltham Cross playing fields from 1988. 1987 was the longest parade, or the longest time it took for the parade to take place, because, as usual, it started at Britannia Road, Waltham Cross, came all the way through Waltham Cross, Cheshunt, down to Half-Hyde Lane, under the A10, Brookfield Centre, Flamstead End, and finally up at Goths Lane playing fields where the fair was, 3.5 hours later, 1 o'clock to 4:30. So the last time that a bumper car track or dodgem opened in Grundy Park was in the summer of 1986, and last night it was good to see people able to enjoy the ride once again, although on a new track this time. John has told me on many occasions that the Cheshunt Carnival Fair was the highlight of his touring season. He loved coming here, although getting access into the park was no easy task. It used to take him all day on the Monday from 9 o'clock in the morning till 9 p.m. at night to get all of the lorries, caravans and attractions through the narrow gate in Windmill Lane. On one occasion, the dodgem lorry accidentally demolished the gate pillar, making it much easier to get the loads into the park. The pillar was rebuilt, new gates were bought, and thankfully John put that right, didn't he, John? This activity of getting all the transport and the fair into the park through Windmill Lane was watched by many local enthusiasts who turned out to photograph the event, and some of the school children that attended the old Cheshunt Grammar School who were watching out of the window when they should have been studying. One young lady by the name of Linda used to watch from the window of room 10. I believe she went on to become a local councillor. Is that right, Councillor Linda Russell?
Absolutely, yeah. Much more interesting than history.
Absolutely, that's right. So Linda was one of the fans looking at the transport going through the park. Did you used to visit the park, Linda, the fair on a regular basis? Good memories?
Excellent memories, yeah.
You won't rely on your
I can't
history.
remember everything bad, weather, so I really enjoyed myself.
Yeah, mostly it was good. Mostly it was good.
Don't rely on you for history.
Just got to see in that. Not so good.
And Councillor Paul Seeley, I think you used to come to the carnival. Yeah?
I can't remember what I did.
No, but you were part of it.
I was
You were
part
part
of
of it.
it,
Yeah, so, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, just for the moment, I'll hand over to the Mayor for Broxbourne, Councillor Martin Greensmith, in order that he can say a few words. Oh, and the Mayoress, Ms. White Leslie. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. I don't know what Stephen had with the Tunnel of Love. When I took Leslie on, I ended up with a banning order and a bruised eye. So I'm hoping there's one there today. We can go on and see if she still loves me. But Broxbourne's Year of Culture, this year 2016, today we're here at the Grundy Park Family Fair celebration. I have to ask, who doesn't like a traditional fun fair? I certainly love them, and the lights and everything else, and the excitement gets me going. And what a wonderful occasion it is, and it's lovely to see everyone here. My wife and I are delighted to have been invited to what is locally an historic day, the return of the John Manning Fun Fair to Grundy Park after so many years. I remember back, you know, Leslie and I are from Finchley, and the first year we moved to Cheshunt was 85, and at a loss of what to do one Saturday evening, we came down to the fun fair, and we were successful. We won an ashtray, and we still use it now. Not for cigarettes, obviously, but for putting various odd bits and pieces. She hasn't thrown it at me yet. I know that during the 70s and 80s, the Mannings Fair attracted tens of thousands of visitors, and huge sums were raised for local charities in conjunction with the Cheshunt Carnival. So I'd like to thank you all for visiting. Thanks to John Manning and his fun fair for coming along today, and a momentous occasion, and we wish you great success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have Michelle Samuels here this afternoon, just over there. And Michelle, you was part of the Carnival Court, weren't you? And the slightly later, so 91, 92?
91 to 92.
Okay. So Michelle there has got her sash from 2 years, is it? There was
Yeah, there's my sash from 91 to 92, and then I was a deputy from 92 to 93, so they're both there.
both there. We've got programmes for the same, yes, and a cracking scrapbook she's got there of events of the carnivals that she attended. So if you want to see those afterwards, please do. Earlier this year, I attended a meeting chaired by Councillor Steve Wortley. I don't think Steve's here now. No, okay. To discuss how groups could work together to promote 2016 as Broxbourne's Year of Culture. Theatre groups, sporting events, etc. For my part, I've worked with John Manning Jr. to present 3 new family children's fairs. The first in Waltham Cross Town Centre over the weekend of July 16th and 17th. The second in Deaconsfield, Broxbourne, over the weekend of July 22nd, 24th, and now this one in Grundy Park, as a celebration of the old carnival. The Waltham Cross event was a success, and hopefully it helped with the vibrancy of the town over that weekend. The cafe owners certainly seemed to be pleased. The Deaconsfield Fair, unfortunately, was not, so we need to look at that one again, and hopes are being put on this weekend. Banners for the Year of Culture have been displayed around the borough, informing the residents and visitors that this is our Year of Culture. Ladies and gentlemen, our second speaker will be from Councillor Dee Hart, Cabinet Member for Leisure and Culture.
Thank you, Stephen. It's an absolute privilege and a pleasure to be here this afternoon, and I would like to thank John Manning and his family for bringing this back to Grundy Park. Absolutely fantastic. Now I can already see it's been very, very well attended. It's a shame the weather's not a little bit better, but hey, nothing we can do about that. People are still out there enjoying the amusements that you brought to the park after 30 years. Yes, it is our Year of Culture, 2016, and we've already got over 70 different events lined up, and it's nice to see a number of people here supporting the Year of Culture, and I hope you're going to continue supporting the Year of Culture for the remaining part of the year. Stephen, you worked very hard, and it's nice that Broxbourne Council is able to work with partners such as the Manning family and Stephen to bring these events to our town centres. It's something I think that enhances it and embraces it. So John, happy birthday. Well done, and thank you very much for supporting Grundy Park and this event. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hart. Thanks very much. As I said, John Manning will be celebrating his 80th birthday this year. In fact, October the 24th is the date for the diary. And he had a long relationship with Cheshunt, Waltham Cross and Hoddesdon. In the 1950s and early 60s, with his dad Samuel, he presented fairs on the Whitefields Road playing fields at Flampstead End, where I grew up as a boy. He then used to go to the fairs with an amusement arcade, or some people call them a penny arcade or one-arm bandits, but that's how I remember him. And the fair used to be right behind the White Horse pub there, wasn't it? And families used to sit in the pub gardens and wander to the fair and back. Great, great times. It was here that John became engaged to his wife June. June's not in the room today. She's been left in the pay box at the entrance to the fair. So that's her prize for this weekend. You know? The twice-yearly fairs at Flampstead then moved to the marshes at Windmill Lane in Cheshunt for the next 10 years, before moving to Waltham Cross playing fields, where they were still held. In July 1981, John was asked to put on a fair in Goffs Lane playing fields to celebrate the royal wedding of Charles to Diana. I believe that followed on from Grundy Park. Did you come from here straight there, or was there a week in a gap somewhere thereabouts? Yeah, but that was obviously a week or so after the Carnival Fair. The borough has also provided a home for John and his extended family, with the council finding land at Cadmore Lane in the 60s, at Brook House and then Covent House at Turnford in the 70s, followed by Burford Street, Hoddesdon, and finally the area where Boundary Park Housing Estate, or Palmer Avenue, now stands. He was there throughout the 90s. Other sites have also been used. With no land being available, and John would have loved to have settled here in the borough, John moved out to reside at South Ockenden in Essex. Although his son, John Jr., and his family have chosen Rye House Showman's Quarters for their home. Ladies and gentlemen, our third speaker is Councillor Mark Mills Bishop, the leader of Broxbourne Council.
No, it's okay, I'll shout, I think, rather than take the microphone. If I'm the last speaker, can I just echo everything which Stephen has said, and the Mayor. I think it's very important that which I think is very important. And there have been generations of people, and we've heard some of the lurid stories that Stephen has given over the Tunnel of Love, but a lot of people, a lot of residents from the borough have shown that they have grown up with the Mannings Fair. Certainly I have always grown up with fairs, and I can go back to my own youth, not so long ago, but I can go back to my own youth in terms of taking part in carnivals and participating in fairs. I mean, I am hugely indebted, and I say that with all sincerity, to the Mannings and the Manning family and the wider Manning group, because they have brought a rich culture to our borough. Long may that continue. I hope that in 100 years' time, someone can stand here and talk about the Mannings in terms of 200 and 250 years. So I think just to end, because I know the Mayor has made a beeline for the food and he wants to be first at the table, can I say thank you to the Manning and the wider Manning family for what you have done. Thank you very much indeed for what you do, and may I echo, I think everybody here, I hope may you continue to do what you do and have done in the future. So well done and congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So ladies and gentlemen, I give you John Manning Jr., who will reply to the toast. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We're going to go back 1963. A gentleman of the name of Bill Greig approached my grandfather, Samuel Manning, with the plan to come to this borough with a fun fair and carnival in Grundy Park. 1964, the year later, the event launched. Over the course of the year and the years that followed, it grew bigger. From the pram race, the tug of war, we had the beauty pageant, and also the dog show. Regarding the tug of war, my grandfather and my father had a commissioned silver shield made for the winning team. And that was presented at the time by the MP was Derek Walker Smith. Remember that one then? Our family have been associated with this borough for over 80 years. My father attended St Paul's School when he was 10. My uncle David has been past mayor and member of the council. In 1966, my mother took me to the shop at Wallace's supermarket, was positioned where the Wimpy is, and she lost me. They found me in the paper shop next to Henry Tilly's sports shop, sitting on the counter, helping a lady with her shopping. I'd like to thank everybody who took time out of their schedule to come here and support us and support this event. I'd especially like to thank Steve for all the help behind the scenes, the phone calls, the emails. It's been relentless, and thank you very much. Cheshunt Carnival is part of the history of Broxbourne, Cheshunt and Grundy Park, and many local residents. And we as a family are proud to have been part of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Thanks very much indeed. I would like to finish with a few thank yous. First, local enthusiast and historian Herbert Haynes, just over here, who took the time to dig out some of his photos of the old carnival fairs, of his work on compiling the history of the Manning family in his book Manning's Amusements, Chronicle of a Hertfordshire Family. Secondly, Carly Hearn and her team at Lowood Museum, who took the time to go through their catalogue of old photos, many of which are being shown this afternoon on the rolling screen alongside the fair, at the entrance to the fair. Thirdly, Broxbourne Council, for allowing us to bring a selection of amusements for the family into Grundy Park for this celebration as part of the Year of Culture. We would look to repeating this again next year, possibly with a public sort of local community group who may wish to hold a fete alongside the fair, so we'll look at that. John Yates from Anwell Studio, who has agreed to take the official photos of the fair and the toaster this afternoon. I thank John for that. John Manning Jr., who has worked closely with me in order to make this fair in Grundy Park and the logistics work to everyone's satisfaction. Thank you, John.
Yes.
The Centre's manager, Kirsten Ballard, who has made this facility available for us today, as the weather obviously threatened not to be very kind, and there it is. To the individual elected members who took the time to send me their memories of the carnival and fun fairs prior to 1987, or those held at Grundy Park. And to all those who played a part in making the carnival parade, show and fair the most successful community culture event of its time. And finally, a personal thank you to John Manning Sr., who put my name forward to be an honorary member of the Showman's Guild of Great Britain. Thank you all very much indeed. Thank you.